It's 6:58 in Central Time Zone, and Tyler outside of Dallas will be going live on YouTube in less than 2 minutes. Hi, everybody. I'm John Self. Welcome to Career Live on YouTube. This is our second tour of duty today on YouTube. We did a simulcast earlier today along with Facebook, and we're just trying to see what's the best slot for our YouTube followers. You know, the selfie following family, they're all over the place. A lot of them have jobs and really, really busy schedules. So we're just trying to find a good slot for YouTube. This is our flagship channel, and we're trying to make this our biggest live stream. Right now, the record is held by those guys over at TikTok at ByteDance. Last Thursday night, we had averaged about 300 or 400, 350, I think, and our peak was about 4,000. So, we're very meager over here on YouTube, although this is where we're putting a lot of effort. I'm John Self. I'm a former executive recruiter. I spent 27 years traveling across the United States and around the world, recruiting managers and executives for healthcare clients primarily. And during that time, I've interviewed thousands and thousands of applicants. So I know what I know about interviewing. I know how the talent acquisition process works. And I'm here to help you answer your questions. We always start off with a few bits of news in the marketplace. Today, the jobs numbers came out in terms of new jobless claims. They were down about 20,000. However, the unemployment rate ticked up from 3.5 to 3.8%. Now, economists theorize that increase in the unemployment rate is really a reflection of that there are more people now engaged in trying to find jobs. So in one respect, that's a pretty good report. Still some kind of nasty stuff heading out there. The Treasury curve is still inverted. Short-term Treasuries are paying yielding well above the longer term bonds, and that's usually 100% guarantee that there'll be a recession. This is a global problem. It's not just a U.S. problem, so we're not here to wag the political tail or point the fingers, but it's a global recession. And there's a lot of things that are contributing to the dysfunction in the U.S., and that's pretty bipartisan too. So the other thing we point out is that we're still seeing layoffs in healthcare, more so at the executive level. There have been some nurses laid off, some clinicians laid off. A more troubling sign in healthcare is that private equity is coming in physician practices. And although there are some good private equity firms, that whole model is not necessarily really beneficial to physicians. They may enjoy the initial little rush of the money, but when they realize they don't have any control, and if they have a non-compete clause, they can be locked out of a community. That's serious stuff. So healthcare is changing. There's a lot of things that need to change in healthcare. I spent 42 years in that industry, and I still am involved pretty much. I spent 10 years, a minimum of 10 years, teaching the interviewing course for executives in the American College of Healthcare Executives. It's a global organization that has 50 or 60,000 members, and always taught the course at the college Congress every year in March in Chicago. So I've taught a lot of people about interviewing, and I've interviewed a lot of people, and I've recruited a lot of people all over the world. So let's talk about something that I'm really excited about, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. And before we get started, we're just checking to see if we have any viewers yet. So far, no joy. And we had a pretty good group early this morning at LinkedIn. We're continue work. I'll be here. I'm going to show up every Thursday at this time until we decide that this is not the best time. This will also be on replay on my my YouTube channel at Guiding Your Career, John G. Self. Okay. So this weekend, we are finalizing all of the details and logistics for our new Your Career community. We have been doing online on-demand coaching since really 2022. Before that, we had a traditional coaching practice. And when the pandemic hit, people were really slowing down. They did not want to spend a lot of money. Coaching can be expensive. Traditional outplacement services or career transition services are anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 for sort of a cut rate plan to as much as $10,000 or $15,000 for more senior executives. And what we found is that a lot of people who were managers and early stage executives really were concerned about putting that much money up. A lot of organizations no longer include that as part of their severance package. So what we are doing is we are creating a community. And this is a community, we found that a lot of people online will get real excited, but then not finish the courses. And so what we're trying to do is build accountability for the training and the education. We're going to continue to use online on-demand courses, but we're also going to augment that with live courses, along with weekly office hours where you can ask your questions about career. We'll have once a month. We're going to have a great self-perspective, in-depth interview with a thought leader in leadership, healthcare management, career management. And we've got a couple of great interviews already in the can, ready for you. One is T.D. Smyers, a great former commander, the captain in the Navy, who is a highly respected executive coach, and he will be here in a couple of weeks on self-perspective. So a lot of stuff happening. Monday, we will be live at noon on Facebook. Facebook, we're going to be on 3 channels, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube to promote the launch of our community program. Now, the great thing about this is that if you bought some of our other courses, and we really appreciate your business, if you're a client or been a client, we will give you a free founding membership. What you're going to get is a lot of the education, and it's going to be part of the membership. So here's the good part. We are going to save you thousands of dollars in career transition fees, because with a couple of exceptions, most of the content we produce, the weekly office hours, the meetups, the interviews, the live classes, the boot camps that we'll be running to get people ready up to speed. Those are all going to be part of the membership. And now here's the good news. It's $49 a month. That's it. $49 a month. If you want to buy our programs a la carte with weekly coaching sessions and intensive, the online on-demand coach, that is $1,250 and $249 a month. And that's more expensive because I'm coaching you every week for an hour and taking other calls from you. In the new community program, you're going to get a couple of live coaching sessions a month, but you'll also get more of my time in the meetups in the office hours, so you can answer your questions. So you're going to be covered, and we're really committed. One of the things that we want to do is hold each other accountable. A lot of people, they don't have a career plan. Oh, I just don't think it's necessary. Yeah, it is. It really is. And we will hold you accountable to get that done. And we're going to be giving you free direction on how to put together a career plan that'll help you achieve your goals. Most people who write down their plan they accomplish it. People who just kind of keep it up here, not so much. So when you write something down, it's sort of a contract with yourself, and you will be much more successful. So we're gonna hold you accountable to do the things you need to do to have the career, the rewards, the life satisfaction, the work-life balance that you want and that you deserve. And we want you to hold us accountable to deliver good content. Because if it's not good content, you're gonna vote with your feet and you'll leave the program. Here's the deal: $49 a month. There is no minimum amount. There's no maximum amount, anything like that. 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. No, it's month to month. So every month we will work hard to deliver you the content and value that you deserve. And we hope that it will be beneficial to help you boost your career. I've been doing this a long time. It's great fun. It's something I really enjoy. I don't miss all the traveling with the search business. So I sort of moved away from that 2018, 2019. I work now from a studio in Tyler, Texas, which is a city of about 120,000 people just east of Dallas, just south of the interstate, off the outer loop. And so a great place to be, easy place to live. And so we have a lot of resources here. There are 2 or 3 universities. There's a medical school being constructed. And so there's a lot of happening in this community. The metropolitan area is about 300,000 or 400,000 people. And so we hope that you will get involved in our career academy, our career community, excuse me. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to email me at john@johngself.com. We will be live on Monday at noon Central Time to be with you to unveil this program. We're really excited about it, and we hope you'll join us. $49 a month, you're going to save a boatload of money over other coaches and other services. And one of our courses is how to put together a resume, and we talk about that. We'll be talking about that in one of our first office hours. So that's kind of something I'm really excited about, and I hope that you will share our excitement and get involved and join with us at your career community. It's part of johngself.com. Our website will be the gateway to this new membership program. There'll be a little ribbon on the right-hand side of the homepage, and you click that, and you go in, and you can sign up for the career community. And as soon as you sign up, you get immediate access to all I think there's 12 courses already online, ready to go. And we will be updating that with additional information. There are also free downloads for like how to run a job search. What's your daily schedule look like? What's a resume guide look like? When you get advice saying, oh, you don't need to customize your resume, I've optimized it. We dispel a lot of those rumors, and we're there for you. And we will continue doing our career lives on Thursday and answering your questions. So that's just a bonus. So thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for your interest. And I hope that you will be with us at noon on Monday. A lot of questions came in today, and I probably will get more tonight on TikTok. You keep using the term job search ready. What has happened to make that such a high priority, and what does it mean? It's a high priority because the research shows that people who are ready for when they get that tap on the shoulder, John, I'm sorry, this is your last day. We're cutting back. The business is not as good as we want it to be, or the boss wants a bigger bonus, or whatever the reason, they're cutting back, and you're not going to be with us anymore, and we're sorry to lose you, but you need to gather up your stuff and follow me. Okay? The people who are prepared, the people who have a resume that's pretty much up to date, the people who have a value brand statement that they can sit down in an interview and immediately say, Why should we hire you and give a home run, award-winning answer? Those are people that are going to do better. The people who are comfortable and have been rehearsing various answers to questions that are very common in interviews, those people tend to do better. So if you wait till you get laid off and then you start going, oh God, I guess I've got to get my act together, you're going to find yourself, if you're not careful, at the end of a very, very long line. Now, right now, the economy looks good, but there are a lot of flashing yellow lights. The inverted treasury curve, interest rates are up, fuel costs are up, housing costs are up, commercial real estate is not in particularly good shape, sort of a hangover from the pandemic, and bankruptcies are ticking up. Next year, Mohamed El-Erian, who is a very well-known economist, is predicting that there will be a huge liquidity train wreck when companies are having to refinance their corporate debt. Not only are they going to be spending a lot more money for the privilege of doing that, some of them have loans that are maturing, and so they have to refinance. They're going to be doing so at interest rates at 5 or 6 or 7% more than what the original loan was financed. Plus, there may not be enough cash in the till to finance all the companies that need help. In tougher times, liquidity is an issue, and it's getting tighter right now. Some of that is with regional banks, but this could affect the job market. So please get ready. Be job search ready. Hopefully you won't have a layoff. Hopefully you'll be able to keep your current job and thrive. But if that's not the case, then we'll be here to help you move through. If you're ready for that, that unfortunate situation, you stand a better chance. If you're job search ready, you stand a better chance to get a better job faster than those who aren't. So that's why I make a big point out of it. I spent 3 hours going over operational information on a potential employer who was recruiting me to be their CEO. They have some significant challenges, but no one asked me any question regarding the operational information they shared with me. I felt like I wasted my time and I did not advance in the search. What are your comments? Well, you did waste your time. But that sounds a lot more cruel than it needs to be. Let me put it this way. Recruiters and employers, they will share operational information with you. And, it's always good to be familiar with it. But don't spend 3 or 4 hours trying to be an expert on that company's minutia. They're all their metrics. That's not what they're bringing you in for. They're not bringing you in to be their operational consultant for the day and tell them everything that's wrong. They may have a pretty good idea. What they're doing is they're bringing you in to decide if you're the person that can add value to their organization, if you're the right person to take that organization forward. And so you need to focus, yes, understand those issues, but you need to vet those issues in the course of the interviews by asking questions. Oh, I noticed this. Is this a significant issue, or is this something that concerns you? And if it is, I have handled this before. And so you rest assured that if I'm selected, I've had a great track record in addressing these specific kinds of challenges. You want to sell yourself, you want to sell your value, and that's where you want to put most of your time. If you're putting more than 30% of your time digging into operational details versus rehearsing questions that are going to probably be asked, then you're making a mistake. Don't do that. But operational people, they love that stuff. And so that's just that we all kind of tend to drop to the default, our strength. And operations, a lot of people, that's their strength. And so they think, okay, that will carry me through the interview. It won't. They're there to decide if you're the right person to run the company, not to decide if you're the best person who understands their problems. And there's a subtle difference, but it's an important difference. So don't make that mistake. We have a form that you can download. It's called Core and Categorical. It allows you to break a job down into categories. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses in each one of those categories. It's HR, financial, operations, marketing or community service or customer service or customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction. All those, most jobs have some variation of those categories. Everybody has some strengths and weaknesses in each one of those categories. Write them down. Think about the answers that when somebody says, well, what are your weaknesses? You want to give very honest answers, but you want to pivot and make them positive. You also have accomplishments, and you can tell little quick stories about how you were able to change an organization's trajectory based on a strength that you have. And if you put it all down in each category, you're going to be ready to interview. If you've had a mistake and you go, oh God, please don't let them ask that question. Be ready to answer that question. Have a great answer written down, memorized, learn. Don't memorize it, learn it. And I guarantee you, they probably won't ask you, but when you go into that interview, because you're ready for it, you're going to be more self-aware in the interview. You're going to be more confident in the interview. And when you're more confident, when you're more self-aware, you're going to do a better job interviewing. So we have a course that's called, we teach the course on interviewing, and that's one of the few courses that also has an additional fee because it requires a lot of one-on-one time. And I believe that's $99 a month. And so you compare our fees to some other companies, and we're value priced, and we've got the experience and the know-how to help you grow. Okay. What are 3 things that you can share that I need to know for a job interview? Well, we kind of touched on that. Be prepared, do your homework, rehearse your answers, the commonly asked questions, and sell yourself, connecting your strengths and your challenges. I think those are 3 issues. I was looking at some notes I made earlier today. Now, the bonus, this ain't about you. I know you may need the job. I know you may worry about how am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to buy groceries? How am I going to take care of my family? But you can't let this be about you. You have to be there to meet their needs and reassure them that you have the expertise, the strengths, and can deliver value that they can absolutely go to the bank on. So your resume is your first interview. What does that mean? Well, in the old days, I was in search for 27 years. And when I started, there weren't any computer scanners, and we had researchers, and we went through the resumes ourselves. And so you get to be pretty good at scanning resumes. I can pretty much, if it's a well-done resume, not some goopy thing with multiple formats and color and pictures and all that garbage, but if it's got a professional summary and it explains each employer and your title, your scope, and then the dot points have verifiable accomplishments, I can go through one of those in 20 minutes and make a pretty accurate decision about whether that was somebody I wanted to keep. But now, a lot of that's done by computers. And so you're not there for the first interview, and no longer is the employer there for the first interview. The resume, when they're reviewing your resume, that's considered the first interview. That resume has to be customized for that job, and it has to answer all the questions they're going to have about whether they should bring you in for an interview. If you look at that resume and say, well, I'm not sure it covers all the issues, but it's good enough, you probably won't get called. So if you have questions about the resume, download our resume guide at johngself.com. Go to the top of the homepage and you can download it. You'll get and also be on our subscription list. We do not spam you. We send out 2 or 3 videos via our website a week, and then on Friday we do funny photos. I just posted tomorrow's funny photos tonight, so if you want to take a look at them, they're at the YouTube channel, Guiding Your Career, John G. Self, or they're at John G. Self under the blog tab. Let's see. Okay, we've covered the resume. What's the best advice you can give for a job applicant going into a site interview? Well, first of all, globally, as soon as that taxi cab or that rental car or your car, you get on the parking lot, the interview's started. So if somebody cuts you off, smile, don't honk your horn, don't get upset. Could be a board member, could be the chief of staff, it could be somebody's key employee. So just be very, very self-aware as soon as you get there. And as you deal with people, if somebody's rude to you, smile, okay? When you go to the reception desk, be very pleasant. Thank them very much for helping you. If they're they escort you to the office where you're going to be interviewed, always be sure that you're very gracious. It starts that minute. A lot of times employers, hiring managers will go back and talk to everybody that you came in contact with that day to find out if you are really, it was an act, or are you genuinely a nice person. So just be self-aware. That's really important. Everyone you come into contact with is part of the interview process. If you go to dinner or lunch, it's part of the interview process. If you hear something during the day that really discourages you and you go, God, I don't want this job, don't let your guard down. Keep your energy up. Smile. You know why? Because you may have misunderstood something, and if you go into kind of a funk, they'll pick up on that, and that'll be enough to get you eliminated. You can always later say, I've really thought about this and prayed about this, and this is just not the best job for me. And that's a good way to deal with that. But don't get your feelings hurt and go, what did I waste all my time for? Why am I here? What the hell is this all about? Don't make that mistake. Let's see. John, what's the difference between a retained recruiter and a contingency recruiter? A retained recruiter is what I was. We work like a consultant. We get if the salary is $300,000, our fee is going to be somewhere around $90,000 to $100,000. We'll get a third of that up front in a retainer, and then we have a contract that pays us based on performance points during the course of the search. So when we submit a certain panel of candidates, we get a payment. When we do certain other things, we get a payment. So I get paid regardless of whether I find the candidate or whether somebody falls into my lap. I'm working as a consultant advising the board or advising the leadership team. Now, a contingency a recruiter, they only get paid if they make a placement. So if you have a job and a recruiter calls you and says, Barbara, we got this great job, and it's they give you kind of a general description, and you say, yes, I'd be very interested in it. Well, send me your resume. If you send the resume, and then 20 minutes later, somebody else calls and has something that sounds similar to the same job, don't give them your resume. Why? Because if you have two recruiters competing over who's owns you, and that's what it's kind of called. It's ownership. They're all going to be competing to get credit for your placement so they can get a fee. And sometimes I have seen conflicts erupt between two recruiters, and the employer just goes, nah, we're not going to deal with either one of you guys. And so as the candidate, you are the loser. So be very, very careful. If you deal with a recruiter, ask them if they're retained or contingent. If they are contingent, say, do you have an exclusive, or is this a non-exclusive engagement? If it's a non-exclusive engagement, listen very carefully to what they're saying, make notes, and then if somebody else comes along and has something that sounds similar, be careful. Don't allow yourself to miss out on an otherwise great job because you got in the middle of two warring recruiters. And that happens a lot more than you would ever imagine. Let's see. How did you get started in healthcare? Boy, that's a great question and a good story. I started off after college. I was the editor of my college paper. I started off as a reporter. I worked here in Tyler, where I was in community college, and then I went on to East Texas State University, now Texas A&M Commerce, which was back in the 70s, a world-class journalism school, and turned out some great writers and some great wire service and TV reporters. And from after I graduated, I wanted to stay in Dallas, but in that business, it's like somebody you have to work your way up. And so I took a job as an editor, news editor for the Lubbock Avalanche Journal on the AM edition. They printed an afternoon paper and a morning paper. So I spent 1 year, 3 months, 4 days, and 12 hours in Lubbock, and then went on to Houston for the Houston Post, that's where I was born. Always wanted to work for the Post and worked there for almost 3.5 years. I started off on the news desk and then moved over to the crime beat. I was the night police reporter. The Post was the morning paper. So my shift was 5 p.m. till 2 a.m. The 5-star final deadline, copy deadline, we had to have in at 1:45 in the morning. Then after the paper, we put the paper to bed, so to speak, or we turned in our stories and we were free for the night. We would usually, spend time with police sources trying to develop stories we were working on. And, a lot of people, they don't go home and just go to bed. And so when your wife is a teacher and you come home and you're sitting in the living room with the light on, there's something magical that she could just sense the light was on. It disturbed her. So we would go have coffee, have breakfast or dinner, whatever you want to call it. But I really loved that job. But after, you see a lot of gore. And back, the Houston was growing. There were a lot of homicides, and after a couple of years, I just decided I didn't want to do that anymore, and got a chance to go to work for Herman Hospital as their director of public relations. And within a couple of months, they decided they were going to do a helicopter ambulance program, and I was the first director of Lifelike. So that's how I moved into healthcare. Within a year, I was the national marketing manager for the aircraft company. Here I was, long hair, kind of one of those off-the-rack department store suits with slightly modish pants, a little bell bottom. My hair was down, touched the top of my ears. That was the style at the time, but not exactly. I was not exactly the sort of the clear picture of what a young healthcare executive would look like. They're flying me around the country first class. I didn't know a lot about helicopters, knew less about hospitals. And somebody said, oh God, what possibly could go wrong? But I was so enthusiastic. I believed in the program. We were very successful at Herman. And it's still I think it is the largest program in the nation today. And something that I was so lucky to do. I'm so proud of being able to have had that opportunity to do that, to work with legendary Red Duke, Dr. Red Duke, the trauma surgeon, Bill Smith, who gave me unbelievable opportunities. That's how my career progressed. I got into the search business when I came back to Tyler following a consulting agreement, swore I'd never come back to Tyler, and swore I'd never get married again. And I need to quit swearing. I met somebody and I thought, well, if I move on to do something else, that probably won't work out. So I started a company here and we built a search firm and spent 16 years doing that, and then left that firm and started a new one in 2010. And I recruited nurses in the Philippines and Canada, PTs and OTs out of Australia and South Africa, and then did executive recruiting in the United Arab Emirates. So I've traveled all over the world, and it's been a great, great career. Now, the chances of me replicating that today are slim and none, without a plan. So if you have great dreams, write it down. Set goals for yourself. If you don't write it down, the chances are you won't be able to meet those dreams. And you got to learn, you can't stay in your safe place. A lot of people, their careers stagnate because they get comfortable in a job they have, or they don't want to take a chance. The safe place is where your dreams go to die. So don't make that mistake. Hey, it's 7:30. It's been fun being with you tonight. We're maybe hopefully have more viewers next time. Some viewers next time. If you have an interest and want to come over to the Wild West Show, I'll be in 30 minutes. I'll be live on TikTok, and so I hope you'll join me there. A lot more activity, and I usually get a ration of what about my bow tie, and then I look like Orville Redenbacher or Colonel Sanders. It's a lot of fun. I always enjoy the people on TikTok. So if you see this on replay, please share it with your friends. Join us noon on Monday. If you have questions about your career community, it is an incredible value, and we will work very, very hard to help you have the kind of career you want. Our goal is to help you have a career with superior, sustained performance. And that's what this program is all about. And it's a membership program, so we can save you thousands of dollars. So check us out on Monday at noon. Share this video replay with your friends. We post on YouTube 2 to 3 times a week. And if you have other questions, please let us know. We're here to help. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good night.